guys. I'm saying hello to 40, 42 of the most prompt among you. It is 3 o'clock, and it is time for our Thursday edition of our family and staff community forum. We had hosted a Tuesday night what I would call the board of directors special session. It wasn't an actual meeting in the sense that we didn't have the requisite votes and we didn't build in board business per se. We actually have a board meeting in 2 weeks, but the purpose of this was to give board members a chance to kind of come to some baseline in their understanding of where we were as an organization. We've been hosting these events and these virtual events, and yet not every board member could watch everyone. I get that, and just as I get that not every stakeholder, whether you be a family or staff, are able to take an hour of your time, twice a week and watch one of these. But it was good. It was a good opportunity to get the board together and kind of tell them where we are currently and kind of a little bit about how we got here. Not, obviously related to COVID. We didn't have anything to do with that, but our response to what we've been doing. And I just realized I should have done some better preparation for this call, because I'm going to try to do this off the top of my head. We've had 24, I believe it is, 24 virtual community town halls and forums. So that's the average of 3 a week for 8 weeks, and so we've met that. This is as long as it's been going on, and I want to say there's been 2,400 people that have watched those forums. 2,400 people, and then another like 1,300. I could be way off here. No, I don't think I'm way off the statistics. I have a pretty good memory for numbers, but like another 1,300 people have watched them on YouTube after the fact. So, there are people who are definitely benefiting and are using these forums for their information. We're part of, as this time goes on and as we become a little bit more relaxed to some degree, I think people will see probably a more and more kind of unvarnished side of Dan Harrison. What maybe people feel like you always see an unvarnished side of me. I'm pretty out there as far as how I'm feeling about something. And today I just want to share a little bit. I think what's happening for me is this, as this goes on and on and on and on, it's the grind of it is starting to just kind of wear me down, like in a sense, not wear me down that I can't go on and I can't continue to represent the organization, but anything that was kind of what's the word, sort of novel or strange, or like this is a new situation, or oh my God, we've never been through anything like this before. Any of those early sorts of feelings or experiences are kind of beginning to fade, and now it's just become this kind of immeasurable sort of monster of a thing. Has just become this daily experience, and I'll tell a little bit more about that later as far as in some of the ways that we've experienced that. But one of the things that I've been trying to do over the past few weeks is to just help us all kind of focus on what some of the numbers are and where our statistics are. People get bored with numbers. They only hear about, or at least let me just speak for myself. I hear 4,400 people dead, and I'm like, oh, okay, 4,400 people dead. But it's I don't always like really put that into context, and I've been trying to help us kind of, just for an organization, making sure that we never let ourselves grow numb or deadened to the losses that people will feel, and the kind of the tragedy and the sadness, the grief related to the losses of COVID that's out there across our country and across the world. I mean, it's significant. In Massachusetts alone, we are now up to 4,400 people dead from COVID, um, and 72,000 total cases diagnosed. Now, last week it was 3,400 dead, so 1,000 people in a week. We're still experiencing great loss. And the week before that, it was 2,100. So, I mean, when you think of what 1,000 people look like together in one space, I mean, that's a lot of people. If anybody's been to the ADP convention, for example, all those people in that room, it's about 1,000 people at the DCU Center in Worcester, and many staff have been to that. Imagine all them dead in 1 week. Now, then you think about all the sons and daughters and grandchildren and people behind those, or not grandchildren, but anybody that a lot of the people that are dying are older people, and I'm thinking about my mother here, of course. But these are lives that are gone from this earth, and there are so many sad people out there right now. An entire DCU center dead in a week. That's what we're looking at in Massachusetts. In the U.S., we are now at. Put my glasses. I didn't write it in big enough letters. Well, last week it was 61,000 dead. This week we're up to 74,000, and then globally we're up to 264,000 people perished. 228,000 last week and 185,000 the week before. I'm right now thinking about Massachusetts. I'm thinking about NuPath. I'm thinking about all of us that are sort of close in my orbit of influence or responsibility, I guess you could say, and a lot of what what's in my head right now is my worry that we're hearing more and more about states that have chosen to begin to open and that are feeling that the time has come to begin to start to venture out into a world of less social distance. And I've just got to say it again and again and again, that I'm going to urge us all, because when it comes to a NuPath policy around distancing and about reopening, we are going to be so cautious, because I know the urge and the strong almost the imposition of this sense of urgency to reopen the economy has been something that's become a national sort of conversation, and I just don't want to see all the hard work that we've done in trying to social distance and to get a handle on some of this stuff is thrown out the window for risks that we should be taking. So this earlier this week we heard about Donna Parker's death. I'll just say what it is. People say passing away, and that expression always just seems weird to me. Donna's dead as a result of this, and we learned today of Donald Cloutman, who has also passed. I think Greg's got a slide that we'll have him pull up. I personally did not know Donald well, but I know that he is somebody that has been described as having a gentle soul, a very involved family, and as somebody who's going to leave a big hole where he was up in Westford. And there's been this huge outpouring, community outpouring within NuPath of people expressing their condolences. And I always picture, I guess it's the virtual equivalent of when there's a wake for somebody that, was on the police department or the fire department, or somebody that's just particularly well loved. And the receiving line reaches all the way down the street, around the block. It feels like Donald's one of those kinds of guys. And we now have experienced a number of losses. And I asked Greg to put together a slide that would keep these faces sort of front and center. Look, guys, look at the list of people that we have lost. These are our clients. These are our family members that that we had 8 weeks ago, that were coming every day to our programs, that our staff and our nurses were caring for each day, that people were helping to eat lunch, that were engaging these people daily in various things, that were working, that were involved in their communities, that are dead. These lives. So this is something that is hitting us in some very direct ways. And for anybody that thinks that maybe this is some sort of a an apparition, some sort of a people are making more of it than what really should be made of it. I'm telling you now that you need to do a little bit more research if you think that's the case, because people are continuing to die, and and we as an organization have one goal here, and that is to protect life and to protect the safety and the health and the wellness of the people in our care and the staff that are supporting these folks. Dan Landon talked on Tuesday about the we have a new COVID case. Excuse me, my mouth is dry. And that means our COVID center, care center at 147 New Boston Street has been reopened. And I just want to put up our heroes up here on the screen again. We've heard from some of them in our interviews on our Friday sessions. We're going to hear from more. I thought last week was terrific. We heard from some folks that were involved there, and these are the ones that are putting themselves out there, that every day are coming in direct contact with people that are COVID positive. Thank you guys. You're fantastic. We love you, and we need you, and we need the staff that are signing up for shifts. Every person that's working within our programs and working face to face with our clients, COVID positive or negative, we couldn't do any of it without you, and we need you in every way to continue coming forward. I always think I have an agenda, and then I go all over the place. So forgive me for maybe not being as organized as I should be. But on Monday, we had a pop-up COVID testing center at the Westford site, and this is and thanks in large part to Sharon and some of the other people that have been so helpful to us. And I decided that maybe I should get tested. So if you look down the lower bottom right of your screen, that's me in my car. Now, just to show you how out of the loop I am, I didn't realize that I was going to stay in my car. Good. South Koreans are doing that. Japanese have done that. Other places in China where they've been flattening their curve, they've done that. Places in New Jersey and New York are doing the drive-through option, and so that's what we were doing. I think that's Brian there was welcoming people when I pulled up. He's there on the top left of your screen. That's Elder Soares with his mask on, and that's the guy that what was his name? DJ. His name was Daniel, I think. And we had a little kind of back and forth chat as he kind of logged me into his system. He had my driver's license out, and so I was a little like not expecting, like, I guess I didn't have it in my head. So if you're going to a testing center, don't worry if you don't know what's really going to be happening, because you think as CEO I would know more than I do, and that's on me, because I think we do great communication, and I don't always pay attention like I should. But staff are terrific. I got checked right in, went over, they stuck the swab up each nose. I was a little nervous because people said it hurt. I would it was I wouldn't want to go for it every day or every hour. It was not the most pleasant thing I've ever had, but it also wasn't something that I would tell anybody to worry about. I was told it would feel like my nasal cavities had gotten full of water. Like, have you ever been underwater or dived in the pool the wrong way, and the water gets up there, and it kind of hurts a little bit. Your nasal cavities. That's kind of what it felt like. As they did the swab on each side, they gave me a piece of paper that said where I could get my results, and they said 1 to 3 days. So this was Monday morning around 10. And I thought, well, maybe at first I thought maybe I shouldn't get the test because I didn't want to take the test from anybody else that needed it. But I was assured there's plenty of tests out in Massachusetts, and it's more getting people educated and exposed to it. So I thought maybe I could be more useful if I go through the experience myself and talk about it a little bit. So people were very friendly. I got the test. They handed me a flyer. The laboratory they were using was Quest Labs, which is a kind of well, it's a for-profit lab in probably maybe it's not just Massachusetts, but I know my own doctor uses that for my lab results. So I already had the MyQuest app on my phone, and so that's how they said I was going to be getting my information. So I've been checking. 1 to 3 days they said it was going to take. Okay, so finally, about noon this morning, in fact, I was on the phone, I think with Greg, and he goes, "Did your results come back?" And I said, "Oh, I meant to check again. I've been checking. I checked the first thing this morning. They hadn't come. They hadn't come." And this is the message I got on my screen: SARS-CoV-2 RNA COVID-19. So I was like, oh, this is it. It's got to be it. Like, because I've been looking, again and again and again. So I clicked on that to think, okay, what's this going to show me? So there, I'm showing you guys my lab results. Harrison Daniel, there you can see. So then it says SARS-CoV-2 RNA COVID-19 not detected. My first thought was, oh my God, so what? Maybe it was inconclusive. Maybe they couldn't find it. It wasn't detected because they didn't know. Your head just starts to go like a million places. And so then I kind of like dug in a little bit, and it said desired result was not detected, and so that does mean that I am negative, and so a that's a good thing. I'd rather be negative than positive. But the funny thing is, since I had the test on Monday, and if you hear me a little bit, I've been a little congested. I see you here. I've been kind of coughing a little bit more. I think it's just allergies. Like any other year, last year, the previous, probably 10, 15, 20 years of my life, this time of year, I probably always have a little bit of a cough. But, since COVID, I was like, oh my God, it's becoming positive. What does that mean? Am I going to be able to do the forum? Should I tell people? What should I say? But still, I was that was negative. So if you, but what does that mean? What does that even mean? Because I could have gotten it like after I left there. Maybe I did something foolish and I got myself, or not even foolish, but maybe some unexpected way I might have been exposed, and so I might have it now. And the test that I took Monday morning just shows that I didn't have it then. So for any of you that are really staying sort of up to date on what science is telling us, and what various states and really on a political on a global sort of force, what many countries are doing is the contact tracing. And in fact, Baker had a press conference earlier today and was talking about that. The number of Massachusetts employees that are being hired and have been prepared to do the contact tracing. So that would be if I had a positive test, then if a state that is really doing their due diligence of being prepared for beginning to reopen, or the thought of maintaining this pandemic during a return to economic normalcy, or people going back to work. If I had tested positive, they would have said, okay, who did you come in contact with? Who have you seen? Who have you been around? And to the extent possible, where I would be able to give names and say, well, I saw this person. I saw my brother from a distance. They would then call those people and say, hey, this person's tested positive and we think you should go get tested. And this is just part of the essential response to at least in the data that we have so far of countries that have been successful in really beginning to get a handle on this pandemic. The human ear hears what it wants to hear. I'm the worst for that because I hear something about positive developments on the pharmaceutical front, on the development of a vaccine. Yes, there are some groundbreaking advances that have been made in the development of medication and that has been used to expedite the search for a vaccine. And in fact, there's a couple of international and in conjunction with cohorts in the United States that are engaged in uh, uh, clinical trials that have reached you know, actually a very advanced stage for such a short period of time that we've been dealing with this virus. But even in anyone's wildest estimation of when this will be made available to a broader populace, we're talking about the fall, guys. We're talking about sometime, well after Labor Day and into a time when we're going to be looking at, into Thanksgiving and around that time period. And that's probably for the people that are most at risk, people that have not previously been exposed. So this is going to be a grind for us all still. And I feel that I need to let you know where my head is because this is going to influence how we make decisions about reopening our programs, how we determine how we're going to provide the best and the most safe protocols for our employees as they return to the workforce, in our day services programs, and how we continue to do internal monitoring of people's health and wellness and to ensure their safety. So I've said it again and again, and if you're somebody that is not hearing that, then some of that's on you because this is what a lot of the experts are saying in various industries. Uh, you've heard me talk about my mother. This is Mother's Day weekend coming up, and tomorrow, as a matter of fact, on Friday, we're going to do our Unity Forum. We're going to be talking to some mothers that we have in our program. I can't wait. It's going to be a great experience. So if you're out there and you're not sure if you're going to prioritize this at 2 o'clock our Unity Forum tomorrow as something that you're going to do, I think you should be considered because it's going to be terrific. And I'm even going to talk to my own mother. I think we're going to have to do that on the phone though, because she doesn't really have a smartphone. But I talked about her partly because I see it as a way that I can can communicate to all of you and to our families in particular that happen to be watching. And I know many of our families do watch this. That I understand what it does to the soul of a person when you've got somebody that you love very much that are kind of trapped behind these glass doors, behind the doors of in the case of NuPath, behind our residential program, our homes that are locked to families and others from the outside. I don't have kids of my own, so for me to otherwise say that I understand what you're going through, um, uh, I think that in the past few weeks, I've gained more of an understanding of what it must be like for so many of our families than I've ever had before. And it's important to me that I stay real and really make sure I continue to like have my finger on the pulse because I never want to be so out of touch with what's going on that I don't get how much families miss their kids. And so in thinking about that and part of the reason, as I say, I talk about my mother's because I love her and I miss her. It's been 10 weeks since I've seen her and I think it helps me to be, sensitive and empathic. So I've been really struggling with her lately because any of you who don't know, she lives in an assisted living program here in Woburn, and I won't mention the name of it, Benchmark. of Woburn, but I've seen a significant and uh, continuous decline in her overall quality of life. And yesterday reached a real kind of a point of very bad behavior on my part, great frustration on my part. And it dealt with a number of things. She had fallen over the weekend. She's fallen 3 times since this all started. Their staff coverage is poor since this all became an issue, and I get that. I understand. I mean, I know we're dealing with many of the similar sort of frustrations. But I'm thinking in my head, are we everything I experience, like the hurt or the anxiety I feel was caused by my not knowing or my not being able to have influence, or I say, do our families feel like this? Do they feel that they're powerless? That people aren't listening to them? Because that's how I've been feeling, you know. And I think about my deceased father, my late father, he died 3 years ago, and his last words to me were, "Take care of your mother," And I feel like I owe him that, and I owe my mother that, and so I've been wrestling with this whole number of things, like how crazy, like really, really crazy, do I want to go, because I can get pretty crazy, and I did yesterday and today. I think I may have threatened to go over with a sledgehammer and break down the glass doors if people didn't go upstairs and figure out why my mother's circuit breakers had blown, and she didn't have any lights in the room, and yeah, I could go on and on. I won't. Hopefully, won't bore you too much with that. But thinking about the two things, this weekend being Mother's Day, and the fact that I have been so dislocated from my mother and having to rely on or rely on the care of the staff that are with her, or be patient with the incidents of dissatisfaction that I have. I mean, all of that is something that I've really been so much thinking about it. And as we go to this Mother's Day, I think when you think about mothers and Mother's Day and this National Day of Remembrance, you're thinking of moms with their children in front of birthday cakes with lit candles, and these beautiful mothers, with grandchildren around them, just the experience of motherhood, and mothers out there, you're gonna hear me talk about this tomorrow. Hats off to you. It's always a mother. Mothers make this world work. I've got more mothers' cell phone numbers in my phone than anybody else, just because they're usually the ones that call on things. But what prepares us for when moms are in their final chapter of life, and when they have been diminished, and when their dignity is being um, compromised, and now not being able to get it is here. It's a tough time, and we're all going through it in our own way. And this thing stretches on and on and on. And I'll tell you again, if you're not feeling the effects of it, then there's something probably wrong with you, or you've got some great drugs and I want some. Please give them to me, because this is just a natural human response that we're not used to this country. I mean, there's terrible devastation. So much of the world, so much of a crisis in Syria, the refugees, and all the things that are happening in this world. We're not used to that here. We're not used to being separated from our loved ones and being told that we can't visit those that we want to be with, and that we have to wait in line outside a market basket for 20 minutes to get in. It's ridiculous. But that's where we are, and that's what it is. And for all of you that are watching, we have 78 of you. You're the core, one way or another. You're the guys that are making making NuPath remain resilient and the resilient and the effective force that we're emerging into during this time of crisis. And families that are watching, if any of you are feeling disempowered or feeling like there's something serious going on in one of our programs that you're dissatisfied with, and if you feel today like I've been feeling for my mother, that I just was looking at the stats today, I was like, I don't even have the strength to talk about this anymore because it's not gonna make any difference. If you feel that way, please call me, um, text me, email me, and I'm gonna try to fix it for you because nobody should feel that way. So it's still a serious situation out there, guys. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it. And families, mothers, we love you, but we're not gonna be opening our programs to you tomorrow. The way we're gonna show our love to you is by making our first and most important commitment to the health and well-being of your children. So that's what Mother's Day is going to look like this weekend. But tomorrow we're gonna hear from some of our NuPath mothers, and yeah, and maybe mine if she like answers the phone when I call her. Um, I know this has been a little personal today. Um, you can always just like log off. You don't have to listen if you don't want to. This is where I am right now. We are continuing to do the best that we can. We've got the best staff in the Commonwealth and probably, nationally. And I remain deeply grateful to the team that is moving this whole thing forward in our response to this pandemic in a way that's making a difference. I believe it is, based on the data of the people that we have that are sick or dying. So, Greg, are there any questions or anything that I need to be thinking of? My goal was to end this day a little early, and I can't see without my glasses on, but it would be so great if I could do it before as fast as Dan Lannon does his.
Yeah, no questions, Dan. Just a lot of well wishes for your mom and gratitude for sharing. So that's it.
All right, you guys, terrific, all of you. It sounds corny, but I do feel a deep love for so many people that are out there working for a community that I love, and we got this. We got this. We will get through this. Tomorrow's gonna be a lot of fun. So remember, log in tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and we'll hear from God's greatest creations, mothers, and be safe out there and healthy. Bye bye, guys.